Yo, yo, here we go. How's everybody doing? July 29th, noon Eastern, 2026, Wednesday hump day. Albus was here, but I think he split. He was not happy about these pussy faggots of the world. Not happy about a small group completely ass raping the entire world. Getting everything, taking everything from everyone else. I mean, like, what kind of people want to take, like, we can understand it if you want to take and give to yourself, but then you want to take so nobody else has any too? Like, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Oh, let me check my sound. Bro. Ah. Can you hear me better? Thank you for saying something. Can you hear me better now? Hello. Give me a Y, a yes. Your business is still studying, just government stealing, yeah. Thank you, sir, for telling me. The damn thing, it went to another mic. Like, I don't know what it would go to. Maybe the laptop, I guess. Fucking thing. Golly, I don't even know how you heard me at all. Yeah, sure. Good. I'm glad you said something. So, I shaved. See, I got another decrystallizing vein right there. We got a lot of decrystallizing veins. See these dots all over me? They're crystallized. My veins are decrystallizing, man. Yeah, I know my lips look bad in chat, but like I said, all the toxins come out of your lips, man. That's why it's doing that shit. When I'm detoxing, I'm healing, I'm rejuvenating, and yeah, the teeth are rough. I can't wait till those two fall out. I wish they would just fall the fuck out in these two. Fuck them. I don't know. It's not that easy, but dude, you'll get it, bro. Relax. Of course it's not easy, but after a decade of doing it, relax. You'll be fine. You do this shit for 10 years and you'll fucking, it'll be fucking easy. It's just a way of life, dude. It's a way of life now. I don't even do it every day. I can't, like I said. You're really fucking with some shit. Mine's so fast right now that I don't even need to do it right now. And I actually can't do it because it starts to push the electromagnetic current too much. And if my vessel, the etheric part of the vessel that it's whatever it's getting rid of, it's not ready. The blockage in the chakras isn't ready. It hurts. It forces it, and you don't want that. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of extremist, so I mean, I kind of took it there myself. I mean, I brought it up to that vibration, man, because I was just so intense. I'm intense. I just did it all the time, so much that now I can't even do it because it's so fast. It's amazing. It's healing, bro. This shit is healing. See all these marks. See all these marks on my fucking, all these marks. Those are veins decrystallizing. It's insane. Yeah, I mean, look. There used to be a lot of bad veins sticking out there, and it's gone down, man. The veins have gone down, man. Look at that. See the veins? Where'd they go? What veins? Oh yeah, we got bad veins here, but look, it's healing the veins. Veins are going away, man. It is a healing. Look at that. See what I mean? The veins. Dude, it is crazy. It is healing, man. It is like crystal just starts coming out of my skin. It just starts spewing out. Like not much. Like and then like the next thing you know, the vein where it was clogged, the chakra starts sucking in, the electromagnetic field starts pulling in. And holy shit, I'm 55, 55 years old, man. These fucking wrinkles are going away. These are the real bad ones right now because right under my nose here, it's absolutely clogged to shit. And when that finally goes, the tip of this will fucking go away. Shiite. But I tell you what, I've been having a really hard time here with this data center shit. Even if it's the word on the street is that it's a 40-acre, somebody's developing 40 acres over here. And but I don't know anybody. If you ask me, it might as well be a fucking data center and that's what I think it is, because I don't see how anybody developing is going to leave a generator on 24/7. I mean, this thing is a loud, you can hear it all the way to the mailbox almost. I walk here to the mailbox, only to the last part where I start getting close to the mailbox do I stop hearing this generator behind me that they put here. I don't know what's going on over here now. My whole life is miserable. I'm depressed now every day. I don't even have any fucking like real weed or anything. Food, nothing. Nobody can donate because they're broke. Everybody's broke. Nobody donates. Everybody hates me anyway, it seems like. But the only reason I'm surviving right now at all, I'd be starving right now if it weren't for my goddamn neighbor taking me to the damn food bank and bringing me food every week. The motherfucker brings me some food bank. If I don't go with him, he'll be in town right there anyway and grab it, and he'll bring it right over, man. Once a week, or every 2 weeks, really. He'll bring a box of food and shit. Well, it's been once a week lately. And, the food they're giving away, dude, is like lab grown meat and shit. And like half of it you can't eat. It's just straight up poison. But, or sometimes I'll feed the shit to the dog, maybe just to give him some extra shit, some variety. But I don't really like that bioengineered shit. So it's like, you got to kind of just be careful what you eat, even if it's free. But anyway, it's just, man, it's been, I'd be starving right now because the donos, I don't get $20-$30 a week. That's my income. That's my income unless Dana shows up and throws me 100 or something, or Melflesh Chicago used to throw me 100. Martin used to throw me, Tom's thrown me, hell, even Ivaldes has thrown me cake back in the day, man. Appreciate that. He was talking about something recently, but yeah, man, I didn't get none. But and man, I'm fucked here no matter what, man. This place sucks. Having to hear all this fucking noise. Ain't even got no goddamn, this shit won't even get a fly high. Premature, not even developed. So it's been fucking rough, man. I'm having a really, really, really hard time lately. It's like weird, man. I'm even like feeling a little lonely lately. I haven't been like that in a long time, dude. I usually could give a fuck to sit here and smoke weed and be happy and get all into my fucking internet here. But man, anybody wants to come visit or fucking let me know, man. You can stay in the cabin, visit. Anybody needs a vacation, come visit me. Stay in the cabin for free. You can park an RV or sleep in your car. Check it out. It's pretty cool here in North Carolina. You can let me know if you think that's but it's still pretty nice out here. Obviously. It's heaven out here except for that goddamn noise. Goddamn fucking low vibration, really low, deep sounding from a mile, and you can hear it away, and it's vibrating the whole fucking house and the ground. That's some crazy shit, dude. That's some crazy shit. You know how much gas that must cost to run 24/7 like that? How the fuck are they doing it? Yeah, everywhere's retarded. Oh, there ain't no work here, bro. There ain't no work here, man. I mean, shit. That's the whole intention, is to try to fuck us like that. But I mean, I'm making it right now only because of the food bank shit, bro. So I mean, got everything I fucking need except for fucking weed. I definitely could use some weed. But I mean, I definitely need like 150, 200 bucks to get a mechanic out here to fix this my Suburban. Then once I have that running again, dude, it's easy peasy, dude. It's sweet, man. But then they want to charge you $1 million to fucking be able to operate it. It's all extortion. Here's the problem, man. The world needs to recognize that there's a small group of people called government ruling the world, and they're destroying it. And we got to stop them. And it's completely illegal and criminal what government is doing, fleecing everybody so that the rich can just be rich and we can be a bunch of peasants, dude. No, man, government doesn't work. It never fucking will. Okay? The result of government is a small group of people taking all our fucking money. And now we're all broke retards having to listen to this fucking retard bird. Shut up! Fucking retard. God, that's one good thing about it. That it seems like the birds have not been so annoying since this, since this data center or whatever. It could be somebody developing 40 acres over there. I don't know, man. It might as well be a data center because it's 24/7, man. It's vibrating the house. What is that, man? Fuck. Developing 40 acres. That's bullshit. What's up, Justin? Adam. God damn. What you doing, brah? Hope you're doing well, man. It's been really, really fucking rough lately, dude. Jesus, dude. I don't know how y'all do it, bro. I mean, I wish I could check out, dude. I mean, I would never kill myself. Don't get that twisted. Don't take this the wrong way. But yeah, dude, there is nothing in this world, man. It is fucked, dude. This place is going at such a downward spiral. The downward spiral is so dystopian and negative, man. And it's really a downward, man, because every day the dollar's crashing more and more. It's losing its value every day, more and more. Every day the dollar's crashing more and more. Yeah, of course. I agree. I would rather have the birds any day. And they don't really sing. They just make noises again and again as fast as they can. And it's crazy. Yeah, fuck that data center shit. I can't believe it. But man, dude, it's fucking rough, man. That's been rough with this noise, man. Good gosh. Man, I couldn't even sleep, dude. It was so loud last night, hardly. God damn, that shit was loud, bro. Plus, I'm decrystallizing in my ears and my ear chakras and all that. And they're clogged and crystallized still. So it feels like it's all clogged, wax crystallized from my ears still. It's not been attended to yet by the field. And man, it's fucking with my hearing, man. Oh man, and it's fucking with my hearing too. It's almost like that shit's even more annoying right now. Deep vibration, man. God damn, these fuckers are annoying. That's fine, man. Hey, agree to disagree. I love birds, but I don't want them right next to my window chirping. And I'm a bad man. I'm a bad guy for that, I guess. for not liking it. I'll never like it, dude. I don't like that noise, dude. It's annoying. I just get annoyed like that. I can't play chess like that. Or watch it. I don't really play much. Ugh. Okay, here we go. Oh, trying to get this damn thing. You'll love to hear this one right here and the one right here, and they just fucking rattle against each other, man. Fuck that shit, bro. It's crazy. It's almost like they're trying to annoy you with their. But yeah, I would rather I'd rather be in a soundproof fucking basement soundproof as fuck, and not hear any sounds at all, and just have that peace, dude, and be able to listen to my inside easier. But my inner easier. But anyway, yeah, I mean, dude, that'd be ultimate, dude, to have a fucking epic soundproof fucking basement studio set up. God, that'd be cool. That'd be fucking so epic. But if anybody wants to come visit North Carolina, come on out, man. Come on out. Check it out. But yeah, Tennessee getting hammered hard too with the data centers. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Let's play some small ones, short ones. I'm not going to play too many long. I'm try play some fast.
Experiencing the big.
Let me get some volume here.
Biggest housing market depression. America is experiencing the biggest housing market depression in U.S. history, and it just got even worse. The Wall Street Journal just reported that pending home sales in America fell in June. This was the biggest monthly drop in contract signings in 2026. And quite literally, folks, you can see on this graph that contract signings for houses on the U.S. housing market had the second worst performance in history for the month of June. This is getting really, really bad, and it's a full-fledged housing market depression. And I fear by the end of this year, we are going to see sellers in absolute panic mode due to this drop in buyer demand. Data on mortgage applications to buy a house just came in as well for the first 2 weeks of July. They're tanking. Mortgage applications for the week ending July 15th were down 42% from the same week in 2019 and down 49% from the same week in 2021. The amount of people going to buy a house with a mortgage is also near the lowest level of all time. And this is a leading indicator, mortgage applications, for what's going to happen over the next couple months. And this is really interesting, right? Because we're constantly told that the economy is good. We're constantly told that things are better off. GDP is growing, the stock market's going up, and yet no one is buying houses. I want you to stop and think about that. Why is no one buying houses right now? Well, obviously it's too expensive to buy in most parts of America. Obviously the mortgage rates have gone up.
And there's not a lot of people out there with money and a job these days. The jobs are looking, thin.
The last couple of years. But I think the fact that no one is buying a house right now is a real warning about this economy in general. Because if the economy was actually strong, if the economy was actually robust, if people actually felt good about their financial futures, you would have people taking the leap of faith and buying houses. But that's not what's happening right now. But of course, demand on the housing market to buy has been low for the last 4 years. This isn't anything new. the fact that no one's buying houses, the pending sales and mortgage applications are at historic lows. But what I think is new in the summer of 2026 are the losses now that certain people are taking on the housing market. Sellers finally starting to understand and realize what's going on, particularly.
Oh yeah, shout out to freaking Geo too. It's been a long time since I gave them a shout out. I emailed them the other day. I wonder if they'll email me back. I don't know why they stopped watching. I must have said something.
This house right in front of me, everyone, this is a massive loss, six-figure loss right here. And I just want to show you guys this so you understand what's happening in certain parts of the market. This house sold as a new build in 2021 for 500 grand. 500 grand in 2021. It's a big house, 5 beds, 4 baths, over 3,000 square feet. It is now on the market for 375,000. So that's 500,000 purchase in 2021, now listed for 375 in 2026. It's a $125,000 loss from the price it sold for in 2021 as a new build. Why is this happening? Why are we starting to see these mega losses? Basically, post-crash pricing is starting to show up on certain listings. And this has the fact to do with not only is demand down, but a lot of existing owners are now starting to run into some difficulties. A lot of people who bought near the peak are starting to run out of money. A lot of people who bought near the peak can't really afford the payments anymore. Or maybe they just need to move for a job and let go of the house. Or maybe some people are defaulting on their mortgage. Data from the Mortgage Bankers Association is showing that mortgage delinquencies rose in the first quarter of 2026, and they rose to 4.4.
Check this shit out. This thing is about to go hyperbolic. Watch this chart. This chart is fixing to go straight up. It's going to dwarf 2010, 2020.
4% of all mortgages were delinquent in the first quarter of 2026, meaning people missed payments, were behind on payments. Maybe they were seriously delinquent or in foreclosure. 4.4%. Now, if you look at the historical graph, you can see that this is the highest.
Look at that. Look at that. The highest right there, right there.
Mortgage delinquency rate that we've seen probably in 7 to 8 years. Mortgage delinquencies are up quite a bit from where they were during the pandemic low, highest level since 2017, 2018. Now, they're still way below where they were in 08, 09. We're not even close.
But check it out. It's about to dwarf that right there. It's this right here is going to get up to 25, 30, 50. Dude, 50% of the people in the U.S. are going to lose their homes. At least. That's what they're doing. That's their goal. Is you will own nothing and be happy. And this is how they're doing it.
To that level of mortgage delinquencies yet. But we don't really need to be close to that level of mortgage delinquencies to have problems in the market. People told you, everyone, that that was impossible. People told you that the values would never go down, but yet we are seeing it happen in real time. And it's happening first in the areas that are, lower income. This area I'm in right now is a lower to middle income area. The schools here aren't so good. Maybe some of the people here bought as investors during the pandemic. Maybe they just don't have a ton of money. This is where you're seeing it happen first. In the more high income zip codes in an area like Atlanta, like Buckhead, Sandy Springs, and Roswell, prices are still actually up year over year. But I'm just curious, folks, how long can the resilience, the wealthier areas keep going? You've heard about this, the K-shaped economy. The middle class to poorer parts of the US and households, they're feeling it. They're defaulting on mortgages. They're defaulting on car payments. They're having to let go houses at big losses. But the higher income thresholds in the US aren't. And this is, of course, being driven largely by the stock market. So long as the stock market continues to be near record highs, you will see the wealthier people in America feel like they're invincible, feel like nothing can go wrong. But you just got to ask the question, is what we're seeing here a warning sign of what's going to happen in more places as the economy and housing market and stock market normalizes? I'm not an expert in stocks, but if you look at this graph of the 130-year price to earnings ratio of the stock market, you could see we're in a record bubble. The only other time we've seen this was 1999. Now, folks, I'm going to show you another house here.
Internet bubble. The internet bubble.
Where the seller is doing huge price.
I've never seen anything like that internet bubble right here. Whoops. Right here in 1999, I remember when I started day trading stocks, and I traded a stock one time that I made $35,000 in one day, and I mean, it was not much of a trade. It was not long at all of a trade at all. And then there was a couple stocks I had that if I would have kept them like 3 or 4 days longer, or about 4 days longer, I would have had $996,000. But I cashed out at like from 12 to 27, 28. I cashed out, dude. It went all the way to 115.
1999. Now, folks, I'm going to show you another house here where the seller is doing huge price cuts. This is a seller who actually bought before the pandemic, and they've cut 150,000. This is a bit of a nicer neighborhood than the one I was just in. Schools are a bit better, newer. You can see these are townhomes, freestanding single-family homes that are right next to each other. They were built in 2019. We got some for sale signs, folks. Check this out, for sale signs. This was originally listed at $700,000 back in 2024, and they have since cut it to $550,000. So it's a $150,000 price cut in 2 years.
Okay, I don't want to lose you guys and play it too long. Yeah, the system is hideous. Everybody just work on themselves, man. Shit. See that shit, dude? Decrystallizing, man. It's fucking, all of a sudden, a vein will just decrystallize. It's fantastic. All right, let's go here. We're going to probably jump around a little bit. Oh, I like this one here too. Okay.
Take a look at these photos from the G7 summit this week. This is a diplomatic meeting for the heads of state of the most powerful countries in the world. Except if you zoom in here, you can see a few other familiar faces. We've got Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, Dario Amodei, Anthropic, Demis Hassabis, Google's DeepMind, Mark Benioff, Salesforce, unelected CEOs of AI companies.
These are all unelected CEOs of AI companies. Why are they getting to sit here with government instead of the people? Who are these people? Why are they special and they get to sit there with the government and make secret deals with the government instead of the people? These aren't the people.
Deciding the fate of
billionaire CEOs aren't the people. They don't reflect the will of the people. They do not reflect the will of the people.
the world with the
Like the will of pedophiles.
world's most powerful heads of state. I think this is part of a trend with the Trump administration, giving unelected big tech CEOs a consistency at the table, at the White House, at his inauguration. But this is an escalation of that trend. So what I wanted to understand is, why were they at this meeting and what did they want? Well, mostly they used these meetings as an opportunity to call for an international coalition for the regulation of AI, an international group that would make rules to protect against the risks of emerging AI models. That might sound friendly or even responsible for them to propose, but I want to call your attention to a few details. First, they want the US to lead this coalition. And as US-based companies, that makes some amount of sense, but it's also directly in their best interests. Despite some fights between Anthropic and President Trump, the Trump administration has shown itself to be extraordinarily friendly to AI companies. He signed an executive order that banned states from passing their own AI regulations and has mostly kept the federal government out of their way too, claiming that any
in a group of people just banning stuff and everybody and telling everybody what to do and making arbitrary rules for you. This government shit, it can't exist, man. A small group of people cannot be allowed to fleece the world. You can't be allowed to fleece the world, and you've done it. You've been allowed. We, not me, but the world has allowed all you billionaire rich pedophiles to dominate us.
restraints on AI would risk the US losing its leading role. So they want a group to regulate AI, but they want it led by their favorite president who is against regulating AI. There's another argument that these CEOs were also there to make. Western powers need to work together so they can continue to dominate the future of AI. The argument is that AI is becoming so essential to Western economies that leaders should consider it not just useful software, but vital state infrastructure that's necessary to compete with China. That may actually sound somewhat rational, but how it plays out in reality could be very dangerous. If this is an argument that world leaders buy, they will never meaningfully act against AI or AI companies, regardless of their actual impact, because AI is deemed essential for national security, essential for survival. And right now, we're seeing the US
fucking arbitrary rules. They violate their own rules, give waivers and passes. Again, everybody gets a pass on the rules, except it's rules for thee and not for me. Every time. That's how it's always going to be. It'll never change. You can't be in a position of power. Okay, that's the rule.
Government justify harming its own people using the same logic. Take Elon Musk's company, XAI. The Department of Justice is now claiming that the NAACP cannot sue XAI for polluting Memphis with its data center because the lawsuit would harm American national economic and energy security by threatening an AI model that the Department of War depends on. Because it turns out Grok was being used to guide US missile strikes in Iran. This is the kind of dependency these AI companies want. And it's why they need to sit with these world leaders, to merge their monopoly with state and military power, to become too big to regulate while claiming that they're doing it all in the name of democracy. Take a look at these photos from the G7 summit this week. This is a diplomatic meeting for the heads of state of the...
That's crazy as shit, huh?
All right, folks, check this out. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been going off on Donald Trump online in the past couple of days, calling out his hypocrisy, his failures, and directly...
I just wanted to show you this short part of the video because this is mind-boggling. People are fucking starving in the streets. Their children have no food. And this is where this moron's mind is at. Hop in, best dimension yet. And this is the mental illness, the total and absolute complete retardation that is coming out of the White House.
Targeting his administration in a variety of different viral posts. And look, the thing about Donald Trump right now is that the White House is collapsing around him. His support, his grip on the Republican Party is collapsing around him. We're now learning through new reporting that Republicans are being told to distance themselves from Donald Trump.
Anyway, you get the idea. Their focus is on other dimensions instead of people are fucking starving right now. Nobody can afford anything because of the high inflation that the Federal Reserve intentionally caused. Your system is inherently criminal and flawed. You don't have a chance. Your money system, all of it. You're done. We're done. We're playing a bunch of short ones first here.
Global war against Israel's enemies cost us $8 trillion.
That's why we're bankrupt.
Yeah. I mean, here we are at 38 trillion. And Tucker, that's the other amazing part. So now in the last 2 weeks, Trump gave another 8.6 billion, totally unaccounted. Where's that 8.6 billion coming from?
Where?
Did anybody ever vote for that 8.6 billion? And then unabated, he gave another 3.3 billion. Where is this money coming from?
It's insane.
Is anybody voting on this? What is going on?
Well, it's debt. These are IOUs to countries that are buying our treasuries.
Exactly. So that's the next layer of it. So you're telling us we have to borrow money from China and Japan so we can give money for free to Israel, and then we pay the interest for the rest of our lives, and they don't pay any interest. Well, why don't they borrow it from China and Japan?
Exactly.
If we're being honest, the global war...
really how it works is they anyway. Initially, they were borrowing from the Federal Reserve, and now they're pulling this scam where they're saying they're borrowing from other country government. It's all bullshit, man. It's insane. Why would a treasury, if you're your own sovereign country and you have a treasury where you can just print money and it's actually real, you don't need to borrow any money from anybody anywhere. So, I mean, this is crazy. They're not sovereign, because if they were sovereign, they could have their own money supply. It wouldn't have to be the dollar or anything. They could have their own shit in their place, in their world, and nobody could tell them what to do and be like the U.S. Oh, you have to use the dollar in order to prop it up. It's insane. It's insane.
Yes, you're coming over it right now. You see all the construction going on right here.
How tech billionaires are using NDAs to hide data center deals. NDA is a non-disclosure agreement that you're, forced to fucking sign if you want to do the deal with these losers, pedos.
We don't know what kind of agreements that they're making. They won't let us know.
I'm in Boyce, Louisiana, and like many small towns across the country, it's the site of a massive data center. And like many of those projects, the whole thing was concealed from the public through the use of non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs. At a recent town hall with local officials and the data center company, people asked about the NDA.
NDA stands for never discussed at all. Not discussed at all.
Officials here that did sign the NDA. Our politicians were elected to represent us, not to represent industry.
I've been investigating NDAs in Louisiana.
Your asshole fucking politicians are goddamn signing NDAs and working with corporations behind the people's back. That's your government. Bunch of pedo, dick fucking rider, protector motherfuckers, pedo protectors.
No.
They ain't told me nothing.
So, you represent the district and they didn't tell you anything about the project? It's a district you represent, and it's a very large development here. I'm just curious, what... Okay. He hung up on me.
But the practice of using NDAs to conceal data center deals is becoming more and more common across the country. So you got NDAs here and NDAs in other places across the country.
Evidently, it's happening all over the country. And that's not what you call an open government right there. That's not transparency. It's the opposite of that.
We're facing a crisis.
Everything fucking Trump said is the opposite. Oh, it's going to be transparent. Everything's the opposite.
With corruption, not just here, but everywhere.
Did you know anything about it before it showed up?
No one has sent a note to me telling me no nothing. All of a sudden, there's this big white tent, bulldozers and everything.
What are your concerns about lack of transparency here with this project?
To not give us the opportunity to voice our opinions until after everything's signed, sealed, and delivered.
Water use, electric use, I'm concerned about. Utility bills going up. If it puts out a background hum, vibrations, it would affect the bees.
Who are they to decide that they can make these decisions in secrets, of which I have no idea what informed your decision-making process, and now I have to live with the consequences?
I talked to the executive director of the Industrial Development Group that negotiated the deal to get this data center here.
And NDAs are not illegal, okay? So you're not going to change my mind on NDAs. So we're done. If you want to keep harping on NDAs, that's it.
I wonder how you react to that.
It's insane. Ultimately, we were robbed of any input, and every single person should have a problem with that.
A recent Gallup poll shows 70% of Americans are against AI data centers in their communities. That's why tech companies like Amazon, Meta, xAI, and Anthropic are using NDAs to hide information about the projects from the public, projects that will directly affect their communities, until the deal is already done and there's nothing the community can do about it. What does it say to you, this moment where you have so many people with different views who maybe wouldn't agree on anything else, coming together and really being on the same team when it comes to this project and the NDAs around it?
All of us have to deal with these things. This is where we have to live. This is where our children are. This is where our families are buried, where we were probably going to be buried. This is our home.
This is the data center right here.
Yes, you're coming over it right now.
It's mind-boggling. Yeah, and all these other places are building these detention centers to lock people up too. Yeah, they've created this. They've really created this, and they can't wait to rape from their anyway. Yes, very well. South Carolina. I'm in North Carolina, but he was, in South Carolina, but it's too close. Close enough anyway. Too close as it is. Yeah, what's up, Bubs? Cat, Bubs, Chris, Evaldis, Tom, Ether. Shout out to everybody who donated. Let's see, Sandra Chase and Fiona for the $20 and the $30 that other time. Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, that's where I'm at. I got no motivation to do nothing in a world like this. It's very unfortunate. Where's that fucking video at? Oh, yeah, right here.
Have any other millennials in their 30s just woken up one day and realized that this was not the life that they were meant to live?
I don't have my will to live anymore.
Being alive is expensive, and I feel like I'm finding myself questioning often, what is the point of being alive if I can't afford to live?
And what if I said that my soul is tired and I no longer want to participate?
I feel broken. Like, I feel like I've lost all motivation to live.
It's how I feel, man. I swear, these people, I don't know why I have this crazy, I don't know if my field is picking it up from everybody or what, but dude, there is nothing here motivating me to even want to sweep the fucking floor. I mean, that's how bad the world is right now.
And to try to achieve things, because I really don't feel like it matters. And I feel like all of this is a filthy scheme and trick.
I feel lonely as fuck because all I have the energy to do is go to work and go home and go to bed.
I've only been alive for less than 3 decades, and I've already lost almost all will to live and passion and drive.
I want to know what the light at the end of the tunnel is, other than maybe a measly 7 days of PTO.
I don't blame American young workers quiet quitting, because what are we even working for? We can't afford families. Are we just working to bomb Middle East better? Pay for Elon Musk's child?
We're just working to bomb the Middle East better for Netanyahu, Satan Yahoo.
Support. Make Jeff Bezos' wife's face slightly more frozen.
Damn.
You just heard from several young Americans who are open about the fact that late-stage capitalism has completely stripped them of their will to live. And I just find it so sad that you can even sense how all of the energy and life force has been sucked out of them, because slaving away for a corporation has basically become the totality of their existence, and it's very clearly taking a toll on them. There's no time for friends or hobbies, and when you finally do have days off, you're too tired to do anything because you've been working so hard. And even though you spend most of your waking days working, you're still only barely able to just get by if you're lucky. It's a rough life to live. And after a certain amount of time, human beings begin to break down under this ruthless, monotonous system, because we're not supposed to be living like this. We're more than just...
We're not supposed to be living like stupid slaves, like animals. We are more than this. We are spirits, souls, and vessels. The vessels here are just technology to access the physical world.
Cogs in a machine, but when we're
our collective dream and subjective dreams simultaneously. When you dream at night, wake up in the morning, you're still in the collective dream, and you don't realize it, but you are. You don't realize it.
Treated as nothing more than a means to an end for rich people, only to be discarded when our usefulness is up. It really starts to get to you. Some people internalize it and they question whether or not something's wrong with them or if they're doing something.
Oh, look at that book, or is that a book? It says "fuck billionaires." That's cool. I like that.
Wrong, or if they're responsible for their own suffering. Others, they know that it's not their fault, but they still feel hopeless because what can they do about it? Now, the thing that's so sad about the people that we heard from in particular is that they're all so young. I mean, this is not something I would wish on anyone, regardless of their age, but they're so young, they're in the primes of their lives, and they should be enjoying their lives. But they can't, because the system that was forced on them before they were born requires them to be as productive as possible at all times so they can survive, even though they're never, ever going to see the fruits of their labor. And there's a difference between working to live and living to work. And it's gotten to the point where people really are just living to work. And if their bodies end up breaking down at some point from all of this work that they're doing,
Living to work, man. Damn, that's fucking dystopian.
it's easier for corporations to just replace them with different low-wage workers, which is why they don't bother to invest in their employees' health and offer them health insurance, because corporations realize that turnover is actually better for them, because fostering loyalty with long-term employees is actually less cost efficient. Employees with seniority, they're eventually going to expect to climb the corporate ladder and ask for a raise if they've been with the company for long enough, whereas new workers, they're just going to be happy to have a job at all after they've been searching for months. So when you have a system that treats human beings like they're disposable, it's no wonder why so many people feel completely hopeless. And I want to play
a system that devalues you. It devalues life. It devalues your friends and family. It devalues this place.
some extended portions of those videos that you saw, of some of them at least. And even though they're heartbreaking, I think that these stories are important because it's important to keep in mind these are no longer exceptions. These stories are the norm.
I go to 2 out of my 3 jobs today. Not today, but this weekend.
2 out of the 3 jobs she has, she's got to work today. 2 of them. She didn't have to work all 3 jobs today, but till the weekend.
I work overnight today, and then tomorrow morning I'll come home, get a couple hours of sleep. I'll go to one of my jobs, and then once I clock out of that job, I'll be going straight to another overnight shift. And like, I hardly want to go because it's like so clear that like I can't even obviously like cover my fucking necessities. And I just,
The annoying part is that I did everything right. I did everything I was supposed to do. I studied in high school. I got good grades. I had a decent ACT. I filled out the little FAFSA form so I could go to a good college. I went to a good college. When I got into that good college, I got a degree, a useful degree that I knew would benefit me in the long run. I got a degree in business, finance specifically. Businesses are always needing that. Can't go wrong with that. Well, now it's 2026, and I met with a job market that even if there are openings, they're probably not legitimate. They're ghost postings. And if you do want to apply to it, guess what? Everybody and their brother also applied to it. So you better make sure you have an ATS optimized resume, you know the CEO's brother, you've done a handshake with the Crossroads demons, and you pray to the almighty God that you can even get a call back or so much as a rejection email, because half the time you don't even get that. Then let's say that you're lucky enough to actually get that job. Well, the odds of you actually being able to keep that job, not very likely, because companies are inevitably going to lay you off because they're going to realize that AI can take your job, or they're going to send your position overseas and pay them about 1/3 of what they have to pay you. What they do pay you is absolute peanuts for the degree and experience that you have. Afford houses, we can't afford gas to put in our car. Inflation is ever rising. Interest rates are rising. We have an administration that doesn't give a fuck about us. The American dream is fucking dead. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. There is no amount of hard work that is going to reverse what the last 10 years of this fucking economy has done. I am a hard worker. I'm one of the hardest workers you will ever meet. I will work my absolute dick into the dirt. I have a full-time corporate job. I do pet sitting on the side, and I also have my own business where I do photography, videography, and media. Guess what? It's still not enough. It's never gonna fucking be enough. I'm just so sick. I'm so burnt out, and I don't know what the long-term solution is, because the thought of having to do this for the next 40 years.
Watching the way that like our world leaders and the economy and generational wealth being hoarded by the top 10%, like What if I say that I don't want to take part in a system that is ultimately not like for humanity?
So devastating stories all around, yet relatable, because we've all been in that position or are still in that position. And it just sucks. You feel like there's nothing you can do. You feel like you're trapped. And I think that that last comment is a thought that we've all had. Like, what if we just quit, even though we know that we can? Because this capitalist system was imposed on us without our consent. And the problem is that there's no way to check out of this system if we actually want to survive. So we're locked in and we're forced to swim as hard and as fast as we can if we don't want to drown. And even if you do what you're supposed to do, you know, you go to college, you get good grades in school so you can get some scholarships, you try to find work that is tailored to your degree. Even if you don't have a degree, but you went for a trade or you're just a good worker, it doesn't matter. Nobody is going to come to into the system without getting chewed up and spit back out. And even though as individuals we have to subject ourselves to perpetual exploitation basically to survive, having this system is indeed a choice. And I think that that is an important thing to say. The powers that be have decided that pure unadulterated capitalism, where you put profits above people, is necessary in order to produce endless wealth for oligarchs. It is their choice to create a system and perpetuate a system that functions this way. And the reason why they're prioritizing the wants of the few over the needs of the many is because democracy, much like everything else these days, has become another commodified venture for rich people. And think about why that is. Why nothing seems to change in this stage in our system. Our system, from the start, it incentivized greed and endless growth. Corporations, they don't just slow down once they become mega corporations and gobble up all of the competition. They then have to find different ways to increase profits year after year after they've already become monopolies. You know, so what do? They might start to cut labor and benefits for employees. They begin to get into politics to lobby politicians for tax cuts and to slash regulations so that way they can cut corners to save even more money and increase profits.
You mean like the way they've done my whole life and wiped out the middle class? Yeah, they've been doing this for decades.
But in order to influence politicians to make these changes, they have to make sure that they grease the wheels of the system itself and take over.
Called lobbying. Anyway, let me
democracy by basically drowning out everyone else's voices so that way they get what they want and we don't. But before you know it, after this takes place for so long with Citizens United, starting with Buckley v. Vallejo, you know, elections and democracy, they're no longer elections. They're no longer what we'd think of as democracy. They're just nothing more than profitable ventures, just like everything else. Investing in politicians might actually yield higher returns for oligarchs than the stock market. And before you know it, what was once a democracy is nothing more than a glorified competition between oligarchs to see which puppets are going to get elected. I mean, look at this study. It shows why politicians aren't even doing the bare minimum to alleviate our suffering. This was published in 2014 by Princeton, and doctors Gillens and Page found that regular Americans have a statistically insignificant impact on policy outcomes, whereas economic elites and special interests, they get the policies that they want enacted into law. And the reason why this is the case is because politicians no longer need to serve us to get elected, because we're no longer their core constituents. Oligarchs are. Your $5 donation pales in comparison to the $1 million check that a billionaire cut for your senator's super PAC. We've allowed unlimited sums of money into politics, and democracy no longer is a.
You idiots have in your game, which shouldn't exist and can't exist, allow cheating. You allow cheating in your game. So you have a monopoly on a game called government, and you make all the rules, and you know, you violate the rules by lobbying. It's literally bribery. It's legalized bribery, lobbying. And until you fix that, you morons will never vote your way out of this, because all the corporations have to come and do is give some money to the fucking retard politicians and say, here, make a law that fucks the people, and they do it. The people don't come along and say, here, we'll give you some money to fuck the corporations, because we're not like that. Because we're not evil like that. We should. come to and fuck. Corporations shouldn't even exist. They should be cease and desist right now, all of it. Same with the fraudulent money supply.
A game for the working man. It's a game for elites, you know? And quite frankly, politicians need oligarchs more than they need us, which is why they don't give a fuck about our suffering, why they don't listen to our demands and even protests anymore. Not that that really made that big of a difference anyway, but like they very clearly don't give a fuck about what we want. They don't care about our suffering. But I mean, this is the end result of all capitalist systems. It's not a fluke. And sure, I mean, you can theoretically enact laws and, you know, try to insulate our political system from this kind of corruption to this degree. But at some point in time, the capitalist vultures are going to attack democratic institutions like a virus and eat away at those protections until there's nothing left, because a system built on greed is fundamentally incapable of serving all of society. And it's gotten so bad that politicians don't even throw us crumbs any longer just to keep us satisfied, to stop us from, you know, rising up with the pitchforks, because they're just no longer interested in convincing us that we're anything more than just cogs in the machine. Trump virtually admitted this recently when he said that we can't have nice things because we have to use the money that we could be using for nice things to kill people.
But it's not possible for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things. They can do it on a
war. There is no real war. All the wars are fake and generated by these people. God damn it. What the fuck is wrong with these people? You know, it's fucking insane. How's everybody doing? We got Tom, Bob Scatavaldis, Ether. We got the Ether here. Of course, the Ether is always around us. Tom, Dalvis. All right. I hope y'all are doing better than me. I really hope y'all are doing well. Ohio man questions why normal people are footing the bill for data center growth. Of course. Why would they do that? It's like, it's not good enough for the billionaires to fucking use their own money. They got to use your fucking money. I mean, they're billionaires, and their role is use everyone else's money. That's how mentally ill these fucking pedos are.
China's largest craft brewery. I have dealt with private equity. I've dealt with built what became China's largest craft brewery. I have dealt with private equity, I've dealt with cooling systems, I've dealt with wastewater management, and I've dealt with IT. We are in a speculative bubble right now. The reason why we need to build so many data centers yesterday is because there is a race to be early in the IPO before these companies and before the retail investors in America realize that there's no there there. And we are ahead of our skis on calling large language models and machine learning AI before it is truly generative AI. And so when we look at how private equity firms are backing property developers to build data centers to then sell to Meta, Alphabet, Anthropic, OpenAI, XAI, what we're doing is we're selling our children's birthright and we're giving away the bathwater, the baby with the bathwater, instead of demanding guarantees that these companies will even be here in 10 years. I was in Shalersville. I'm in Perry twice a week. I see the anxiety in the communities. And when we see the narratives from the investment companies, it's always the same. Whether they're building 16 data centers or 6, there's always 200 jobs. Why? Because it's enough jobs to look beneficial, but not enough to break your school system. These are marketing approaches to get over a hurdle, to get tax abatements, zoning, and environmental so they can build it. And by the time there are trucks on site and raw materials in the flat and trade unions have their contracts verified, they will say, hey, that closed loop system, yeah, that's going to be too expensive. Now it needs to be open loop, but you can't stop it because we've already broke ground. By the time we see whether or not there are 200 jobs to even be had, and by the time we get to a point where we know whether or not there will be any taxes paid after the abatements expire, The people that sign the contracts won't even exist anymore in terms of corporations. We don't even know if this industry will exist. When there's a minute, can you just go like this? I'm looking right at you. And so what we need to do is figure out a way to do a registered capital bond that is required statewide. That's a collaborative between.
Yeah, see, all this is a bunch of nonsense, man. It's just crazy. They just dig the hole deeper. Like, it's crazy. Oh, nice. 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 Okay.
Yes.
Whoops.
I just can't wait to see how they spin this. War wasn't always the American way.
This is let's see, Liberty Ball.
I don't blame people for being
That's not a nuclear bomb. That's CGI fake shit.
skeptical of any FBI narrative. We have a mass noticing going on. This presidential administration hasn't enacted the agenda it campaigned on. Wars can be started by lies. Peace can be started by truth. Vault, great to be back with you tonight, broadcasting live from World of Liberty Vault. Great to be back with you tonight, broadcasting live from Nashville as usual tonight. Flock cameras are everywhere. In fact, they might be in your local community in places that you don't even know about, that your neighbors don't know about, and yet they represent such an invasive violation of our rights. And all this is going on under the auspices of providing you security, of making your community safe. But do they really? I doubt my guest thinks that, but the CEO of Flock thinks you're a terrorist if you dare point that out and even point out the locations of these cameras. So we'll talk about the dire threat represented by Flock, but actually the white-pilled perspective that many communities are rising up, even under legal means in some cases, to cancel the contracts, get the information out about Flock, and what you can really do about it. We'll also talk about the pervasive.
Like, they literally want you to build your own prison around yourself. They want you to build your own prison around yourself. Here, let's lock ourselves in.
The surveillance state at a federal level. Palantir and its entrenched tendrils in the deep state, working in tandem with the CIA, the FBI, all the other intelligence agencies. I think we have 18 or so, much of which is covered by a budget that Americans can't even know about because it's secret.
It's insane. It's insane. None of this shit should exist. And it's out there causing havoc. All this government shit, none of it should exist. And it's just out there causing havoc everywhere.
Secret, it's classified, even though they're fleecing you to pay for it. Was Doge just a smokescreen to expand the surveillance state and get Palantir's Foundry software installed so they can harvest our data and aggregate it all into centralized databases? We'll talk to him about that too. And will J.D. Vance's political ambitions be stifled at all because of his connections to Peter Thiel, the PayPal mafia, and Palantir itself? So we'll get to the bottom of that. And more or less, Jason is going to tell us what the flock is going on, man. So we have Jason Bassler here. Jason is the co-founder of the Free Thought Project. He's also the founder of Police the Police. His work and himself has been featured in coverage by Rolling Stone, on InfoWars, and lots of other publications. I really mean it when I say that he runs an organization that delivers more of the truth about the surveillance state, the law enforcement apparatus, and the police state than just about any other organization out there. Jason, your entire Twitter feed is just lobbing out information about Flock day after day. It's so invaluable. Thanks so much for being with us here today and a pressing topic that we need to know more about.
Dave, thank you so much for having me back. Always enjoy rapping with you, brother. Thank you for the kind words. And I should probably preface by saying this is my third interview today. So if I seem a little amped up or jittery, that might be why. But I am wearing my lucky Rothbard shirt today. So, you know, it's got the good vibes. Got everything going for me right now. So yeah, let's get into this, man.
Let's get into that. We love to see that, man. Any Rothbard plug is going to go far and wide in this show. And by the way, Jason saying that is just his humility. He actually saved his best for this show. I happen to know that. Maybe I'm a mind reader, but that's just what I think. So, all right, Jason, let's just get into this in an overarching way. For people that don't know much about Flock, I'd like you to just start with the basics, because I know no one can really tell about this and the threat better than you. Like, what is Flock? Why is it a threat to our privacy when tied?
All right, you already know that answer. I've played it 1,000 times, so you already know what the problem of Flock is. We already know.
Stop what you're doing right now, folks, because what I'm about to show you isn't just another embarrassing moment from the circus we all call Canadian politics. This is the moment the mask slipped, and the future of our country just got a whole lot darker. What you are about to see is not a comedy sketch. It's not a deep fake. This is a sitting progressive conservative MLA, a former Speaker of the House, a former cabinet minister, standing in the New Brunswick Legislative Assembly and accidentally reading the AI's instructions out loud, like as if it was a part of his own official speech. Ready? Watch this.
Another concern relates to expectations. One of the dangers associated with creating advocacy offices is that citizens often develop expectations that exceed the powers actually granted to those offices. Here's a more natural flowing version of that section that reads like a legislative speech rather than a series of short points.
That's what the AI just said to him, the instructions.
Madam Speaker, one of my concerns with this legislation is the potential gap between what New Brunswickers may reasonably expect this office to accomplish and what the office will actually have the authority to do once it is established.
Yes, you heard that right, folks. The man just read the AI's stage directions out loud.
Here's a more natural flowing version of that section that reads like a legislative speech rather than a series of short points.
He didn't even bother to delete the AI's instructions before standing up in the people's house and delivering them like they were deep political thought. This isn't a glitch. This is a window into the future of Canadian leadership. Think about what just happened here. An elected representative, paid for by you, the taxpayer, couldn't be bothered to write his own thoughts or even proofread the chatbot's homework. He just copy-pasted whatever ChatGPT spat out and walked into the legislature treating the AI's notes as if it was his own speech. No pause, no correction, no shame. Just a smooth, robotic delivery of the chatbot's stage directions, as if the machine itself was speaking through him. And here's another thing that's equally crazy about this. Nobody in that chamber stopped him. Nobody stood up and said, Bill, buddy, you just read the AI's instructions. They all just sat there while this digital word salad got entered into the official record. Guys, this isn't just embarrassing. This is downright dangerous. Because if an elected official can stand in the people's chamber and treat an AI's output like sacred scripture, then the thinking has already left the building. When politicians start to rely on AI to generate their
when it's really technically AI running these dumb
speeches, they are
existing in the first place.
No longer doing the job that they were hired to do. Think, represent, deliberate, and argue from conviction. Instead, they are outsourcing the core democratic responsibility to a black box algorithm trained on the internet's greatest hits of corporate, bureaucratic, and progressive groupthink. What biases get baked into these speeches? What assumptions about advocacy offices, climate policy, digital IDs, or whatever the next control mechanism is. The AI doesn't know New Brunswick. It doesn't know your neighbor who can't afford the power bill. It knows whatever data set some Silicon Valley company has decided is safe and aligned. And once the precedent is set, where does this stop? Today, it's a speech. Tomorrow, it's policy briefs, committee reports, talking points for question period, campaign platforms, and entire bills drafted by these large language models, while the honorable members just show up and rubber stamp the output. Pretty soon, you've got a legislature full of empty suits reading AI-generated scripts, and the actual power sits with whoever programs the prompts and controls the models. That's not representation. That's automation of governance. And the
That's not representation. That's automation of government. So the billionaires can sit back and just roll over you automatically.
people get cut out of the loop. We've already watched governments use so-called experts and science as a cover for their disastrous decisions. Now they can hide behind the algorithm said so with no accountability and no original thought. Just
Yeah, it's like you're giving them plausible deniability. It's complete stupidity.
polished, flowing, risk-averse pablum that sounds legitimate because it uses big words and proper grammar. And the worst part, this guy is part of the conservatives, the ones who are supposed to be skeptical of big tech, centralization, and unaccountable systems. If this is what the opposition looks like, God help us when the real control freaks fully lean into this. Folks, this is the natural endpoint of a political class that has forgotten how to think for itself. They've been reading from teleprompters and party talking points for so long that feeding the whole mess into ChatGPT and calling it a day feels totally normal to them. Folks, this is not funny anymore. This is the early stage of something far more dangerous. A government that no longer requires human judgment, only human bodies to stand up and read the script. This moment has exposed the whole rotten foundation of the state. Government was never about wise, thoughtful representatives, carefully weighing the will of the people. That was always the fairy tale that they sold us to keep us paying and obeying.
The fairy tale they told you to trick you into believing that they can roll over you now and ruin your life and the world.
And voting. But what we just witnessed is the truth that the representatives are empty vessels. They don't think, they don't deliberate, they don't even bother to read their own damn lines before going officially on the record. They feed the prompts into the machine, stand up, and recite whatever it pumps out, including the instructions themselves. And once the thinking is fully outsourced, what's left of the social contract? Nothing. Just coercion backed by...
There is no social contract. That means somebody would have to agree and consent and sign it.
By force. Now with better grammar. Today...
That implies that, that they just have to obey. That's bullshit.
It's one MLA in New Brunswick. Tomorrow, it's every speech, every bill, every regulation generated by black box models that answer to no one you can vote out. But here's the important takeaway, guys. The solution isn't to demand better politicians or tighter rules about AI use. That's still playing their game. What we need is to build parallel systems of voluntary cooperation.
No, you need to tell these fuckers to cease and desist. All you retards in government, stop pretending you're our authority and you can tell us what to do. Stop rolling over us. We're just going to kill you all. Fucking retards. I don't know if there was, no, there was no AI of the old world. There's no AI of this world either, man. Like, there is no AI. It all is just as far as the way people think it's like in some type of intelligence. No, these are programmed algorithms. There is zero soul or anything. These things are responding and doing what they have been programmed to do. Automation. That's all it is. It's simple as that.
Is Israel committing a genocide? No. Just a straight up no. PSA time, everybody. You should never, ever trust an AI chatbot again, because similar to how mainstream media has been controlled for decades, the new AI frontier is now being conquered at lightning speed. And by who? You know who. Dropsite News, bombshell reporting. Israel is paying millions of dollars to train AI chatbots how to talk about Gaza. It's working. Former Trump campaign manager Brad Parscale is overseeing an operation posting hundreds of blog posts.
And understand it, when they say they're training the AI, that means programming. They're programming the AI chatbots because it's a computer program.
On behalf of Israel with the goal of infiltrating artificial intelligence. They literally told us last year that they were going to do this, and lo and behold, they are actually doing it. And by it, I mean influencing or poisoning LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, many others to spit out their version of the truth when it comes to questions about Israel and Palestine. A reminder, this is what the Israeli official told the world last year as far as their roadmap.
Oh, by the way, folks, does anybody got an old drone that I could use to send up and look over the trees so I could see where I got to walk to? I got to find this place, this noise, this data center.
To improve their reputation amongst the international community. Take a listen.
All these issues. The really cool thing about AI is that while it can become a great ally for our enemies, if we act early, it can be exactly the opportunity that we need. After missing the boat with social media, AI is now becoming the dominant source of information, the main source of information. People trust AI more than anything else. They trust AI more than social media. They turn to chatbots like ChatGPT and Gemini instead of using Google, and young people use.
Instead of going on your social media and asking your friends.
These bots instead of Google in very, very, very large numbers. So this is becoming the main source of information, okay? And so when I say this, I still find Jewish people being discouraged. They say, oh, but Wikipedia is already so anti-Semitic and social media is so anti-Semitic. Why bother? The AI just learns from all of this data. So, you know, whatever, not much we can do, but that's not true. Because over the past 2 years, the AI companies have been moving towards alignment. So instead of the algorithms sort of honestly
That's code for moving towards a monopoly.
Representing what's in the data, we're finding that these chatbots and the text-to-image models are increasingly showing us exactly what the companies want us to see, okay? So it's becoming intentional, which means that instead of trying to control the whole world and trying to somehow manage what's happening in this big blob of Wikipedia and social media, we can go directly to the companies with clear technical and advocacy solutions. So for the first time, there's a path to correcting the digital world.
There's a path to quote unquote correcting the digital world. And what was that comment about controlling the world? Was she supposed to have said that? I guess sometimes you just get so jazzed that the truth just vomits out. So according to Dropsite, since October, former Trump campaign manager Brad Parscale has been quietly overseeing an operation posting hundreds of blog posts on behalf of Israel. By the way, Brad Parscale is the same guy that currently runs the Charlie Kirk show. So I think that might explain a lot about what's going on over there. This is one of the websites that he runs. It's called paxpoint.org, and it's supposed to showcase the narrative that Israel is a peaceful country. For example, this article, Beyond War, Israel still seeks enduring regional peace as the end goal.
When their motto is, by deception, we will have war. Okay. These are such deceivers. They might as well be demon, reptilian, aliens.
But the thing is, nobody, or specifically no human, is meant to ever read those articles. Quote, the key intended audience of these websites is not concerned Americans. It's not even humans. Most of these sites only average a few hundred unique visitors per month. Instead, Parscale and his firm, Clock Tower X, created them as part of a $46.5 million contract with the Israeli government to try to influence artificial intelligence-powered chatbots, tools like ChatGPT or Claude. But China. Okay, so this is the official bar registration document for Clock Tower X LLC, declaring that they are in fact a registered agent for the state of Israel. And one of their explicit tasks is to deploy websites and content to deliver GPT framing results on GPT conversations. So, following orders, Clock Tower X has indeed created a bunch of fake but official-looking blogs and fact-checking websites with the sole purpose of training AI chatbots. Dropsite compiled 10 of these websites, the first being paxpoint.org. That's the one we looked at that was supposedly dedicated to showcasing the narrative that Israel is a peaceful nation. You have allyvia.org, website dedicated to strengthening U.S.-Israel alliance. Factsignal.org. The mission is to, quote, prove that Hamas terrorist designation reflects global consensus and undeniable evidence of violence, not conspiracy. Cogniteur.org website claims to be a research and education platform dedicated to exploring how extremist groups such as Hamas operate.
All right, we're good on that. Sorry, I played that a little longer than I should have. Yeah, we don't know that I don't think, yeah.
But when only 5 pickers showed up this morning to harvest
Florida farmers beg for help with crop rot after cheering deportation.
his sweet potatoes, farmer Keith Smith saw possible ruin, the loss of his $500,000 crop.
They're running scared because of this new law.
And you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble, bad trouble.
Smith's 200 acres need 20 pickers, mostly Mexican nationals.
There is not enough documented people here to supply that workforce.
Most of your workers are here illegally.
Sure, if they got documentation, they got a better job.
So like this fruit is not going to be able to be harvested because it's too far gone.
That's because on day one of the harvest, about half of their 120-person workforce wasn't there.
Our harvest workforce is primarily
Cherries, oh my God.
immigrants.
They look like epic flaxseed cherries. Oh my God, they look so good. Oh.
I would say the majority of are from Mexico originally. They are skilled workers who come up every single year. A lot of people have a lot of fear based on their ethnicity, which is an unfortunate thing.
Chandler says the fear over ICE raids isn't just present at his farm, but across many farms like his. For him, it means an unprecedented loss.
So we are
all kinds of food wasted, not harvested because of government.
We are in a situation where we're going to have to leave probably 300 to 400 tons of fruit on the tree. It's going to be devastating.
He and his wife are even looking for second jobs to make up for the loss.
Wow.
But on top of those fears, Chandler's wife is from Mexico, and the knowledge that people who look like her and his children don't feel welcome hits close to home.
Do you know where your fruits and vegetables come from? Over 1/3 of U.S. vegetables and also 3/4 of fruits and nuts are grown in California. Did you know that? Well, right now in California, because of all these ICE raids, 70% of workers are gone due to workers being afraid of the ICE raids. 70%. And in an article I was reading on The Guardian, someone in the business said, if 70% of your workers don't show up, 70% of your crop doesn't get picked and can go bad within 1 day. This is real, and it has a devastating impact on the entire United States. And according to the story, California farms generate $60 billion in agricultural sales every year. Even Trump had said at one point a couple weeks ago that our farmers are being hurt badly. They have very good workers. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be great. Okay. But then he turned around after he
Turns around and kicks them out.
was going to supposedly protect farm workers and restaurant workers and said, no, we're going to continue raids on them too. And right now, there's been no policy to change anything. And, you know, it's a ripple effect. So this is going to take maybe a couple more weeks, maybe a month, and we are really going to start to notice the prices are going to skyrocket for fruits and vegetables and nuts. And forget the GOP and the MAGA people who are going to say, oh, we'll get our stuff from other countries. No, you won't. And if you do, you're going to pay. And at the end of the day, what part of $60 billion in sales revenue did you not understand? So enjoy your avocados, your apples, your tomatoes, your lettuce, your corn, your watermelon, because in the coming weeks, you're either going to have none or they're going to cost so much money, a lot of people will just not be able to afford it.
Mention the cost of oil will be increasing everything's prices on top of that. If there's even any oil in a couple months.
This is the consequences when we chose the wrong direction. Oh my God. Yes. It is what it is.
Metallica in the background.
Make America great. Yeah, low prices.
Even though American farmers are struggling, I'm happy that our president sent Argentina $40 billion. I'm willing to go broke. Ha! Couldn't be prouder. What a time to be alive.
So you wanted proof that the immigration policy would be affecting everyone? Look at your grocery bill next month and the next coming months. ICE ramped up raids in places like Ventura County and parts of the Central Valley fields in California. They went through fields, they went through houses, you name it, grabbing people up. Now, farmers are seeing up to 70% of their workers not showing up to work, left by fear of being arrested. And that means fruits, vegetables are going unharvested, which means they're going to go bad in the fields. A 1/6 generation farmer put it like this: if 70% of your labor force vanishes, so does your crop. And most local workers don't want to pick these plants. And it's a real worry. Cropland is worth nearly $60 billion, and that could be at risk of going into bankruptcy, being sold off to the next bidder, and that bidder may not be an American company. That could be great. Workers themselves are scared. One said, if I show up to work, I don't know if I'll ever come home to see my family again. The bottom line is, this isn't just hurting farms. It could raise food prices and disrupt supply chains nationwide. Be sure to follow along as I continue to provide updates, and let me know your thoughts below in the comments.
Who said?
Oh, shit. Hysteria ain't gonna do shit. Welcome. So here's the deal. What the fuck? Deputies swoop in, issuing $400 ticket to innocent people for recording nice cars coming out of a car show. Yeah. Yeah. You can't make it up. All your freedom is gone because of some pedophile fucking government makes rules for you and it wants to rule over you. And you allow it to, when you should be like fighting for your freedom and say, fuck you, I'll kill you if you tell me what to do again.
Any kind of shows should be stopped for spectating racing or need your ID, please. I'm being a what? You're being detained. I need your driver's license, please, for citing for spectating or racing in front of you.
So it's illegal to watch?
Yes, sir.
Oh, somebody's about to get fined or arrested or both. For what crime? For filming cars leaving a car show.
Don't you ever let us catch you doing that.
Just in case there are any stragglers out there, because we don't want any stragglers who still don't understand this isn't the land of the free, home of the brave, but rather the land of the fee, home of the slave.
Oh shit, I gotta change the fucking battery. There's gonna be a minute or so, a couple minute intermission. Sorry about that. You hear the beeping. It's going to fuck me. God damn it. Ugh. Hello, I'm back. Sorry about that. The battery went dead. I apologize. What is BOTG and FOC? What the fuck is all that shit, Tom? What's she been up to? I don't know. I don't even know. Cool, cool, cool. I don't know what she's been up to. I have no idea. We should all get together, though, with this meltology shit. Hey, baby. Such a good doggy. You're such a good doggy. All right, let's get back to the video. Watch part of this video here.
Do you really want to see how oppressive and tyrannical Florida deputies are? What if I told you that in Florida, you can be arrested or fined or imprisoned or all three simply for filming cars in the street? It's Florida State Statute 316191. And we'll get to that in a minute. Basically, if a car owner that you don't even know does a burnout in the middle of the street, you can be treated as an accomplice to criminal activity just for filming it. And who's going to
just for being a spectator
cite you, fine you, and
this rule of this gang that's rolling over the world right now needs to be executed, rounded up and executed.
Take you to jail if you don't cooperate? Why, our always heroic and patriotic protectors and servants, of course. Here's the story. This guy shows up at a legitimate Florida.
All right, we don't need to hear the story. All right, we just need to know about how ridiculous and shitty it is. Wow. You fell over a fence, landed on your elbow. Ouch. First on a tree stump. It's still soft. Working right now. We all need to help. Jerry get his hand on a drone. Yeah, folks, I need a fucking drone. It would help me out a lot, man. If anybody's got an old drone, you could send me, email me, and I'll give it my address. You can send it to me, man. I need to send up a drone so I can see what's out over these trees here and what the fuck's going on with this data center, or if it's indeed a developer. So please start a drone drive. If you guys can help me out, donate. If you got a drone, that'd be fucking cool. No, dude, I don't want the chainsaw, dude. Fuck that. Dude, the chainsaw is the last thing I need, Tom, right now. Okay, listen to me carefully. I don't need a fucking chainsaw right now, okay? I don't have the gas to put in it, okay? Do you understand? I don't have gas to put in the fucking chainsaw to cut anything around here. And I'm not worried about cutting anything around here. It's not important to me right now, cutting stuff right now. That's the last thing I need right now. Although, yes, I do need to cut some wood for winter and all that shit. It's definitely would be important for wood and burning. But right now, yeah, I mean, you're right. But it's just summertime is why I'm saying that. Just so you know. If it was winter, I'd be like, yeah, give me a fucking chainsaw and cut up some shit. I don't know. But even so, yeah, I need a chainsaw. But dude, this drone shit's way more important right now. I need to see what's going on over here, man. I can't walk through the woods. I'll get lost. The terrain is so evil, and this shit's so loud. It feels like it sounds like it's right there, but it's not. So you got to go through the woods and shit. And I need a drone, bro. Like, I need a drone that goes up high enough to see over trees and a mountain. And then, to look down at what the fuck is going on over there. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, send me a chainsaw, dude. See, I'll take a chainsaw, but I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, I need it. Yeah, but damn, dude, I almost feel like I need that drone first. It's like fucking crazy, bro. So uncool. What is that? Yeah. Hey, James chilling at a peaceful little park.
Oh, hey guys. Didn't see you come in. I'm James Corbett of the Corbett Report, coming to you from the sunny climes of Western Japan in July of 2026. Welcome to episode 506 of the Corbett Report. They don't want you to read. And as you might be able to guess from a title like that, yes, this is a story about our accelerating descent down the slippery slope of idiocracy and towards the nadir of 21st century society, post-literacy. So do you remember the story of the Library of Alexandria? The famed repository of all human knowledge and ancient wisdom that was famously destroyed by Julius Caesar in his siege of the city in 48 BC? Well, like most famous stories in history, that one too is mostly wrong. So do you know the real story of the Library of Alexandria? And do you know what that story teaches us about the real value of the library? Well, stick around. At the end of today's episode, I'm going to tell you that story. But first things first, come with me. I have something to show you on the bookshelf. All right, where is it? Here we go. All right, listen to this. The universe, which others call the library, is composed of an indefinite, perhaps an infinite, number of hexagonal galleries with enormous ventilation shafts in the middle, encircled by very low railings. From any hexagon, The upper or lower stories are visible interminably. The distribution of the galleries is invariable. 20 shelves, 5 long shelves per side, cover all sides except 2. Their height, which is that of each floor, scarcely exceeds that of an average librarian. One of the free sides gives upon a narrow entranceway, which leads to another gallery, identical to the first, and all the others. To the left and to the right of the entranceway are 2 miniature rooms. One allows standing room for sleeping, the other, the satisfaction of fecal necessities. Through this section passes the spiral staircase, which plunges down into the abyss and rises up to the heights. In the entranceway hangs a mirror, which faithfully duplicates appearances. People are in the habit of inferring from this mirror that the library is not infinite. If it really were, why this illusory duplication? I prefer to dream that the polished surfaces feign and promise infinity. Now, hopefully you recognize that as the opening passage of Borges's The Library of Babel. And I say hopefully you recognize it because I hope you remember that I did cover it in a previous edition of Film, Literature, and the New World Order. Link in the show notes if you don't recall that episode of the podcast. But yes, if you're going to talk about the value of reading, I think any such exploration would be incomplete without a word from Jorge Luis Borges, probably the most inveterate reader amongst all writers of the 20th century.
I only think of reading and of writing in terms of happiness. If you don't feel happy when you're reading or when you're writing, then, or if you don't feel greatly moved, then you're not really reading or writing. The whole thing is merely reading, I mean, for examination marks, and that of course, I won't say that way madness lies, but that way dullness lies.
Are you really saying that all writers should enjoy? Are you saying that writers should enjoy writing?
Well, of course they should. At least I do. I mean, I have to toil, I have to work, but at the same time I'm enjoying it. After all, I mean, I have chosen that literary fate for myself.
I don't know about you, but I could listen to Borges speak, or more to the point, read his writing for hours and hours. But it does raise the question, what is the value of reading? Why should the writer or the reader be happy in their task? Well, let me answer that question by countering it with another question. Do you think I can adequately explain that in an audio-visual medium like this? What if there is some essence of information that cannot be adequately conveyed in this medium in which I am talking to you? What if it could only be conveyed in the linearity of the printed page? An interesting idea, worthy of further exploration. And I am tempted to start quoting from this book, but I fear that I will lose the very audience that I am trying to reach with this podcast if I get into such a dense tome. So let's start out with one that's a little bit easier and more entertaining to read, but still that makes important points. This is called Amusing Ourselves to Death. It's by Neil Postman. I have referenced it many times in the past. If you haven't read it yet, why not? It's not a voluminous read, and it's relatively easy to read, and it makes some important points, like this one. What is television? What kinds of conversations does it permit? What are the intellectual tendencies it encourages? What sort of culture does it produce? American television is indeed a beautiful spectacle, a visual delight, pouring forth thousands of images on any given day. The average length of a shot on network television is only 3.5 seconds, so that the eye never rests, always has something new to see. Moreover, television offers viewers a variety of subject matter, requires minimal skills to comprehend it, and is largely aimed at emotional gratification. Even commercials, which some regard as an annoyance, are exquisitely crafted, always pleasing to the eye and accompanied by exciting music. There is no question but that the best photography in the world is presently seen on television commercials. American television, in other words, is devoted entirely to supplying its audience with entertainment. But what I am claiming here is not that television is entertaining, but that it has made entertainment itself the natural format for the representation of all experience. Our television set keeps us in constant communion with the world, but it does so with a face whose smiling countenance is unalterable. The problem is not that television presents us with entertaining subject matter, but that all subject matter is presented as entertaining, which is another issue altogether. Entertainment is the supra-ideology of all discourse on television. No matter what is depicted or from what point of view, the overarching presumption is that it is here for our amusement and pleasure. That is why, even on news shows which provide us daily with fragments of tragedy and barbarism, we are urged by the newscasters to join them tomorrow. What for? One would think that several minutes of murder and mayhem would suffice as material for a month of sleepless nights. We accept the newscaster's invitation because we know that the news is not to be taken seriously. That is all, it's all in fun, so to say. Everything about a news show tells us this. The good looks and amiability of the cast, their pleasant banter, the exciting music that opens and closes the show, the vivid film footage, the attractive commercials, all these and more suggest that what we have just seen is no cause for weeping. A news show, to put it plainly, is a format for entertainment, not for education, reflection, or catharsis. And we must not judge too harshly those who have framed it in this way. They are not assembling the news to be read or broadcasting it to be heard. They are televising the news to be seen. They must follow where their medium leads. There's no conspiracy here, no lack of intelligence, only a straightforward recognition that good television has little to do with what is good about exposition or other forms of verbal communication, but everything to do with what the pictorial images.
What a stupid bird. See, he don't like the birds either.
Look like.
Goddamn birds are annoying. See, he don't like the birds either. Who is it? You thought you go boy. Oh yeah, dude. No, I'm not into. I don't read all the. I'm not a book reader like that, man. What? Only. Where's everybody at, man? Where's everybody at? Am I that?
Because you might be thinking.
Am I that horrible?
Because you might be thinking, well, Nate, even if it was under the Pentagon, well, we would be able to see how much money we're sending them, right? Well, let me turn your attention to this. For those of you who don't know,
as of today, the Pentagon's failed 8 consecutive annual financial audits. The Department of Defense has failed every full department-wide audit since Congress first required it to undergo annual audits in 2018, and it's failed every one. It hasn't showed anything. It hasn't obeyed their own laws. They don't follow their own fucking rules. Zero information from the Pentagram or Pentagon.
the Pentagon has failed 8 consecutive audits in a row. Yes, it has failed every single audit it has had since 2018. The point being there is nobody in America has any idea where any of the money is going that the Pentagon is spending, because when they get audited, they just go, whoopsie, we lost the money. Day, nation or not. And no, I don't, where we find out if America will remain a sovereign nation or not. And no, I don't mean that sarcastically. I'm not being hyperbolic. We are literally going to find out that later today, as the House is about to vote on officially the NDAA. And if you don't know what that is, it's the bill that's going to merge the American military and intelligence apparatuses with our greatest allies. Yes, the IDF. Because, wow, that's not the most treasonous thing that's ever happened in American politics. Literally. And again, this is probably the most important thing that's ever been voted on in American Congress, at least in recent modern history. Now, I'm sure YouTube is going to suppress this video because the media doesn't want anyone talking about this. They want it to just slide under the radar so the American people don't pay attention to it. But I wanted to put this video out ahead of time so as many people as possible are paying attention to this, because they're supposed to start voting on this in just a few hours, and everyone should be watching this in America. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. We're going to talk about what all this means. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Tom. Yes, I think so. I think so. I think I'm doing a great job today. Great job. Let's see. Dude, that. Whoop. All right, one more, and I'm playing a video. There we go. Okay. Okay. Crazy looking fucker.
New Cold War and the new Cold War. We're in a new Cold War, and the narrative in Washington, the narrative that is being spread by multiple members of Congress, is that the U.S. and China are in an AI.
I just showed you a video the other day how they're all working together as far as thousands of papers they've done together, work together, open source.
Arms race, like the nuclear arms race with the Soviet Union during the first Cold War. And Washington and Silicon Valley are terrified that China may be winning this so-called arms race, especially because China's AI companies are releasing most of their models open source. So anyone in the world can download the original program and they can run it natively on their computer. They don't have to pay another company. They can do everything on their own server. And this is the exact opposite of the monopolistic business model of Silicon Valley. If you don't believe me, listen to the very revealing words here of Eric Schmidt, who is the former CEO of Google. And he just openly came out and admitted that what Silicon Valley wants is monopoly.
What I like about this is that we have real competitors. What I don't like about it is China is very focused in broad diffusion of this technology globally, and it's all open source, which means it's largely uncontrolled and not controlled in any way by us.
I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that. This is the former CEO of one of the most powerful corporate monopolies in the world admitting that US big tech corporations want to prevent all other countries on earth from challenging their monopolies. And by the way, this is not just a problem of Donald Trump and the Republicans, because I should point out that Eric Schmidt was previously a very influential figure in the Joe Biden administration. So, of course, Trump has not in any way hidden the fact that he's working very closely with billionaire oligarchs from Silicon Valley in order to craft US government policy. But this is not a uniquely Trumpian phenomenon. This is bipartisan. Biden and the Democrats were doing the same thing, because the United States is an oligarchy and government policy is made by and for the oligarchs. And the Silicon Valley business model is all about monopoly. I often emphasize that it's important to read an article that was published by the Silicon Valley venture capitalist billionaire Peter Thiel, who published an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal in 2014 titled, competition is for losers, and he openly defended monopolies and said that all big tech companies want to establish monopolies. Now, Peter Thiel is not just some random individual. He has been one of the main funders of Donald Trump, and he's a far-right ideologue. Thiel is also essentially the political godfather of Vice President J.D. Vance. Vance worked for Peter Thiel's companies, and Thiel funded Vance when he ran for Senate, and he successfully won his Senate seat. We're in a new Cold War, and the narrative in Washington, the narrative that is being spread by multiple members of Congress, is that the US and China are in an AI arms race, like the nuclear arms race with the Soviet Union during the first Cold War. And
about that. Oh, let me just throw a quick is going on. This thing just started playing. This thing just started playing without my fucking permission. That is just crazy. That is really kind of annoying. Fucking cocksucker. Let me just throw a quick side note in here. George Carlin telling everybody all this shit already a while ago.
In the open now. They're not even trying to conceal it anymore. The owners,
it's all out in the open now,
of the country they got their election. They said, we're going to get this election. We put you people in that court for a reason.
All right,
Now's
back
the time
to
pay
earth
us.
for you now.
Yeah, forget all that stupid.
Back to earth. You see, get these fucking pedo dick riders that are fucking completely detached from reality, and they just watch the news. And he's like, and George Carlin just puts him in his fucking place like the dumb fucking reject that he is.
They're out in the open. They're openly driving the bus, and we're all in the back.
There is no national conspiracy to buy elections and control America. Now talk about back to earth. Conspiracy, but
you don't need a formal conspiracy.
Back to earth. Even that, what's his name? That dude. What the fuck is that dude's name there? Who gives a shit? That prick. Even he knew that. Man.
Right. When interests converge, these people went to the same universities and fraternities. They're on the same boards of directors. They're on the same.
This guy, he's getting his reality shattered. This dumb fucking reject.
In country clubs, they have like interests. They don't need to call a meeting. They know what's good for them, and they're getting it. And there used to be 7 oil companies. There are now 3. It will soon be 2. The things that matter in this country have been reduced in choice. There are 2 political parties. There are a handful of insurance companies. There are about 6 or 7 information things. But if you want a bagel, there are 23 flavors because you have the illusion. You have the illusion of choice. Right. You don't get the real important choice. There's no freedom of choice. They're out in the open now. They're not even.
This is America, and this is a special episode on the affordability crisis in the United States.
When costs exceed incomes, people are forced to make painful trade-offs.
Stagnating incomes and rising costs mean more and more people are having to decide whether they go further into debt.
Or if they choose to give up food,
fuel, and medicine in order to get by.
Affordability is a serious challenge from one coast to the other. It doesn't matter if you're middle class or on a low or fixed income. Everyone is feeling the pinch. So let's take a closer look
at the affordability crisis in the United States.
For people right across America, everything has been getting more expensive. From food to fuel, healthcare to heating, everyone's feeling the pain.
Because every day the value of the dollar is crashing more and more. It's losing more value every minute. And it's getting even worse. It's going to be faster and faster. The inflation is going to increase it's going to hyperinflate.
But if you're a pensioner or living on a low or unpredictable income, that's when people are being forced to make some very tough decisions. A mother weighing up how to feed her family with how to get to work. The elderly deciding whether to buy all or some of the medicine they need. That's the reality of the affordability crisis here in the US, but it's not just food and gas prices that have been the problem. It costs more to insure homes. Health insurance has soared, electricity bills are up. All of those factors combined are pushing people who used to have financial breathing space to the brink of poverty. Well, the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding to end the war with Iran has helped ease the financial pressure just slightly, but it will still take months for prices to fall to pre-war levels. Well, we've sent our teams to 5 different states to see how the affordability crisis is affecting people. Kristen Salumi begins our special report from Manhattan in New York.
New York is home to some of the most expensive real estate in the country. And it's not just the fancy high-rises on Billionaires Row. Prices are high all around the city.
About 2/3 of New York households are rentals, and rents hit new records this year. In Manhattan, the median now tops $5,000 a month.
We still have some bagels left.
Forcing some families to make tough choices, even families in working-class neighborhoods who own their home.
So this is the space. We have the bathroom.
Kat Casey is a clinical social worker.
Anyway, you guys get the idea. We'll go to the next one.
There may be penalties if you decide to boycott the state of Israel.
It is now illegal in 39 of 50 states to boycott the state of Israel. Think about that for a second. You're a state contractor in one of those 39 states. Think about that for a second. You're a state contractor in one of those 39 states.
If you decide to boycott the state of Israel.
It is now illegal.
Look at this map. Look at how Israel has taken over the United States. These are the states that Israel has taken over. How do we know? Well, they've made a law to where you can't boycott them and all this crazy shit.
In 39 of 50 states to boycott the state of Israel. Think about that for a second. You're a state contractor in one of those 39 states. You have to sign a contract just like this one that you see on the screen. This is real, guaranteeing that you will not boycott Israel. And they claim that we live in a free country.
You go to war with Persia, it will bring your country down. The American people did not rise up in major numbers because we want war with Iran. That was never part of the deal, okay? It was never like, hey, America first, comma, we're going to go do a bunch of, targeted strikes on the inland of Iran. So that's just where I would say that would be a catastrophic mistake. And so, but beyond that, I just want to make sure that we are clear kind of why we believe this. We have so many pressing problems at home, and our leaders are internationally obsessed, and they are domestically ignorant.
You can see why a lot of us would think that Israel would have wanted him dead.
In much of the United States.
Yeah, man, you got to be crazy to fucking even live, man. It is crazy, y'all.
We're essentially building the digital prison of the future.
Okay, I did show. I think I don't know if I showed some of this or not. Tommy G. What the? Yeah.
A system that knows we're essentially building the digital prison of the future. A system that knows you better than you know you.
Why do we need to bury family farms and make fortunes for some people and steal fortunes from other people? It doesn't make sense.
Get out of the way, Chief. No, get out of the way. You work for us.
Blissfully ignorant of local politics until Microsoft showed up in my backyard.
But I wanted to talk about how we were using an Israeli cybersecurity company to monitor all employee communications.
think AI will probably, most likely, sort of lead to the end of the world.
That creepy quote is from big tech CEO Sam Altman, whose company OpenAI is one of the biggest names in artificial intelligence. Folks, when you look around the country, it appears the majority of citizens are against data centers moving into their town.
Whether through song,
Not here, not anywhere.
Protests against an AI data center in Union County, New Jersey.
Yet despite this, there are hundreds of them springing up around the nation. Now, here's what big tech executives are telling us on why we should be welcoming data centers into our communities.
How is there already hundreds of data centers already? And we're just now finding about it, that there's already hundreds. How are we just now finding out? NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, pedophile politicians keeping their deals quiet with the corporations. It's all criminal. Goddamn, it's all conspiracy. But they'll call you a names.
Going to be the dominant player, or China's going to be the dominant player, and there will just be very different rules depending on who wins.
Powering the AI revolution, while also advancing a more reliable, affordable, and clean power grid.
Everybody's ChatGPT, everybody gets it for free, and everybody has access to just this crazy thing, such that everybody can be more productive, make way more money.
No, you won't be more productive.
AI is the biggest technical thing ever in my lifetime. I mean, it is so profound.
However, for many
people over profit and pollution, please.
Americans, there is a growing suspicion that they will be the ones to foot the bill for this endeavor, while big tech rakes in the reward and profit.
Yeah, you're going to build your own prison, and you're going to pay for it too, because you're basically retarded. That's how they look at you.
And if this data center bet goes wrong, the downsides could be catastrophic. It could mean the destruction of our drinking water supply, the collapse of our already weakened electrical grids, massive price hikes on our monthly utility bills, and giving the government the power of extreme mass surveillance. And the list goes on. So with much on the line, I decided to travel across the country.
They keep giving power up to this group. This same group keeps getting more and more a monopoly on power, bigger and bigger on power.
To understand this data center tsunami that is coming our way. So let's begin. But first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's episode. Folks, for this documentary, you've been on the road, a lot of road trips and documentary. Have it and use any desk for desk. See this data been negatively impacted. We're pulling in
center right here in Wisconsin. Right now, Microsoft is building a massive new AI data center right here in Wisconsin. A project that could soon impact all of us.
We're pulling into Wisconsin farmhouse that has been negatively impacted by this nearby data center. We're going to get their story. And just remember, what's happening to this family could happen to you, could happen to your...
It's happening to me right now. I hope it ain't a data center. They say it's developing, they're developing 40 acres over there, dude, but it sounds to me like a fucking data center.
Family members that live out in the country, I think rural people are being disproportionately affected by crisis. Folks, a data center is a massive industrial warehouse filled with thousands of computer servers that store and process digital information. These facilities serve as the backbone of the internet, making everything from streaming video to now artificial intelligence possible. And to begin this episode, we visit farmers in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, where almost a stone's throw away from their house, Meta began building a billion-dollar data center.
Hey!
Well, that's when the trouble began to start. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
Sure.
Good to see you, brother. How are you? Yeah. Charlie Barons is a beloved Wisconsin comedian and Emmy-winning journalist who has been traveling the state and speaking at rallies to help locals fight against data centers. Today, we join forces in Beaver Dam.
How long has this been in the family?
It's been in the Frank family since 1974. This farm has been established here for over 150 years.
When did you notice something was amiss in this house?
The main thing was probably right around the end of February. You know, we're turning on the faucets. The water is kind of discolored. It's not real great. Then we had nothing for water. We got someone out to take a look at the well, and then they declared it a dry well. You know, you're looking at either digging that well deeper or digging a whole new well, which could run you $25,000, depending on how deep you need to go.
Folks, let's look at the scale of data center water use.
I dug a fucking well myself, and back in Florida, a hole. It's a fucking hole.
A single large data center can
$20,000. What do you? It's a fucking hole.
consume up to 5 million gallons of water a day, which is equivalent to the daily water consumption of a town of 50,000 people. Also, roughly 2/3 of all new data centers being constructed are located in regions facing severe water shortages. In fact, some of our key countries' water basins are at risk. The Colorado River, which water shortages. In
You see that?
fact, some of our
Whoops. God damn it. Look at that right there, that fucking data center. It looks like it's right there. And almost, it's northeast of fucking Murphy. Oh, shit. Hold up. Yeah. Who is that? Shut up! What? Okay, hold on a second. I'll be right there. I'm on live streaming right now. All right. All right, you guys. I got to call it a day. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.